What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beers and. Today, we're going to be talking about beers and fire.
I'm glad that we didn't plan that. We just decided, let's go demonic on fire.
I was going for flames, you know.
Flames, fire, burning.
Fire is probably one of the coolest things to watch.
I like fire. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're transfixed on it.
I read once that watching a candle flicker, like sitting there and watching a flame, could open up your third eye.
Oh, I feel like that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you stare at it long enough.
One of the most primal things.
I have made fire.
Oh, fire.
I was going for...
Caveman?
I was going for Castaway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going for a little Tom Hanks action.
I was going for Caveman.
It's all right. That's all good.
I used to have a Wilson volleyball. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course. Oh, do I remember you?
Like with the actual face on it? I used to have the actual Wilson face.
Yeah. Huh.
Good times.
If you guys are just joining us and would like to chime in at any one point in time before...
and stop this train wreck.
Stop this.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. Nick and Alex here as always. We're back with another beer. We're back with another topic. You can come find us on Instagram if you so choose at Beers and Podcast. Come watch us on YouTube, please, if you would like at the same. And, Twitter, Beers and One. Who cares? Most importantly, though, beersandpodcast@gmail.com for all your comments, questions, and concerns.
Exactly. And let's not negate Twitter. It's still kind of important, despite the fact that I was trying to post 2 days ago and couldn't get it to stay within the character limit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Twitter.
Man, Twitter.
That's why I'm like, whenever I go from Instagram to Twitter and you trim...
Oh, yeah.
Trim the characters.
It's not easy.
And it's never the same effect.
No,
I don't
never.
get all the hashtags.
No.
I'm not going to be that guy who does like post, comment, underneath.
Oh, yeah.
The rest. No, we're not doing that. That's not us.
Maybe that's why we've been begging for interaction, because we just are so damn stubborn.
Just post 1,000 characters on Twitter. Who cares?
Why not?
Okay.
Everybody else does, and they say shit.
We're going to start
talking
doing
about
that.
good things.
We're going to start doing that. So we're having an American IPA today.
Yes, we are.
From, who's it from?
It is from 902 Brewing.
That's right. Not related to 903.
Not related to 903 or 90210. This is called Heaven, Hell, or Hoboken, which I love so much.
For many reasons.
Many, many reasons.
Yeah.
So it is an American IPA. As you mentioned, it is noted with grapefruit, passion fruit, and citrus flavors with a heavy dose of Simcoe. So we should be getting some nice piney notes. Absolutely. Nice notes in there. Now, I was fascinated by it because I thought that this was just a cheeky name at first, Heaven, Hell, or Hoboken.
I would have thought so too.
According to the Hoboken Museum, the designation as a port of embarkation, meaning for like World War I, meant fame for Hoboken. So General John J. Pershing's promise to the troops that they'd be in, quote, Heaven, Hell, or Hoboken by Christmas of 1917 became a national rallying cry for a swift end to the war, which actually dragged out for another year. But that's what Pershing apparently used to yell out to his soldiers before they would make their way to the front.
What a way to rally your soldiers! I just have a piece of paper in the bottom of my glass. That's it's stuck there now.
It's actually good for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's extra pulpy.
Paper towel.
Yeah, there you go.
I love me some cellulose.
There you go. Cellulose and Simcoe. That's what we're going for today.
So what is actually? So there's Simcoe in here. There's Citra, or did we not get that? It's just Simcoe.
It says that it's just a healthy dose of Simcoe.
So maybe it's an all Simcoe IPA.
Yeah, I believe. I believe so.
I believe so.
So yeah, we should get grapefruit, passion fruit, citrus flavors, and then a heavy dose of Simcoe.
Yum. Yeah, that sounds like Simcoe. Are you ready for this question?
Yeah. What do you got for me?
Let's see how deep you're gonna dig for this one. First song you would sing at karaoke night.
Oh my God! First song I would sing at karaoke night. Oh, it really depends who I'm with.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I typically like to go with a song I know I'm gonna crush.
I like to have a little fun with it. I'm trying to think of some of the ones I've done in the past. I do a mean Harper Valley PTA.
Okay.
Just because I can really kind of get into it just a little bit.
Sure.
I'm I want to tell you all the story about a Harper Valley widowed.
Didn't see that coming.
Oh, yeah. That's a fun one for me. Oh man, dude, there are so many.
There are so many.
Like I'm not afraid to really sing much of anything. But yeah, I'm just gonna go Harper Valley PTA for that reason.
Okay, that's a solid
What are you
one.
going for?
I'm probably gonna go Smooth by Santana and
Give
Rob
me your
Thomas.
heart, make it real. Oh, well, forget about it.
That's happening. And I feel bad for the poor sap who's got to follow that up.
If I'm with Meg and Mama, we do a wonderful 3-part harmony for What's Going On.
Oh, I love it.
That I don't know why, for some reason, long ago. Actually, I do remember. So they had come over for brunch one day, and this is going back a couple years. They came over for brunch one day, and it turned into us pretty much drinking an entire case of champagne.
Sounds awesome.
It was terrible. I was asleep by roughly 6 o'clock because I just couldn't hang.
Champagne, there's something about champagne, man, that's like sneaky, but also gives you a headache. Like I always get a headache.
Oh, because
whenever I have
it's so.
champagne.
I woke up that next morning
God, so
and
hungover.
it was a rough one. It was a rough one.
I'm sure.
But we had, I think we each had like showed up. We were here. I think everybody had like pretty much had like, maybe we had 3 bottles or so or whatever it was. And it was one of those things where like we quickly were like, oh shit, what do we do now? So the liquor store around the block, we went over to and cleared them out
Nice.
of all of their champagne. And on the way back, did a wonderful 3-part harmony, sitting then in front of the building in my car.
Oh, fantastic.
And if you looked around at any one point in time, everybody at least had their hand over their ear for the that's it. Hey, yeah. Oh God, so good, good.
Is there such a thing as karaoke? And if there's not, I say we invent it.
I'm pretty sure that's what James Corbin essentially does. Carpool karaoke.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Don't know who you are, but
No, you know who he is. He's the heavy sight. Okay, take 2. He's the heavy set English guy who hosts the Late Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he does that?
Yeah, he does carpool karaoke.
Still, my old sentiment. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
But you're probably a nice guy.
Eh.
Okay, I like your answer of how it depends on who you're with.
Yes.
Because that plays a role.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing Smooth, I'm probably doing like a Jack Johnson song.
Okay.
Or damn, Poison by
Belle
Biv
Biv
DeVoe.
Of course.
Yeah.
If it's later on in the evening, and I've had sometimes, I do love, one of my guilty pleasures is I Don't Care by Iconopop.
I feel like I know that, but
I got this feeling on a summer day when you were gone. I crashed my car into the bridge. I want to let it burn.
That is a great karaoke
my God,
song.
I become a sorority girl on Rush Weekend.
There's a Buck Cherry cover of that song.
Is there really?
Yeah, and it's actually pretty good. No joke. Let's get back to the beer.
Oh,
what do we got?
Okay, let's try this out for general.
Ooh, it smells like
Ooh,
Citra
it's
and
got
Simcoe.
it's got that really nice kind of pininess on the nose. Ooh, I love that.
I poured this a while ago, and there's still like a nice foamy head
Which
on
is
here.
particularly interesting because of the fact is that I was reading through, I don't know if this was a review on Untapped or on Beer Advocate, that someone had noted that they felt like they didn't have really much of a head at all.
Really?
From a pint. Yeah, it's actually lingered
For a while.
quite a long time.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I typed in Heaven, Hell, or Hoboken, and the first thing that came up was not the beer.
Oh, no, not at all. It's evidently a much more famous, I guess, quote than expected.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm reading what you read, but what I get from this, from the wording, hit with a heavy dose of Simcoe both in the kettle and cold side. So that means this was dry hopped with Simcoe.
Correct.
But there's probably other hops in
Did you
the
happen to
kettle.
take a look at the can?
I didn't. You know, I like to play this game. It's guess what hop this is.
Oh, I'm never good at that. Man, I don't see anything.
I feel like there could be Amarillo in here. But we'll never know.
Amarillo.
There's definitely Simcoe in here. I smell the pineapple. I smell the pine.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about that.
I love that.
6.5 ABV, by the way. Nice.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, nice. Nice ABV.
Let's dive in.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, that is
Much more mellow.
extraordinarily.
Yeah. Probably the American style.
It's got
I
a
guess.
it's got a really nice It's got a really nice mouthfeel, I think, on it.
I think the malt
is
like, normally I don't like malty IPAs, but this one is like not, how can I say this? It's like, it's sweeter, but there's a grassy kind of piney hop note that kind of cuts through.
Yeah.
And makes it really balanced.
I like that grassiness too.
Yeah, definitely.
I like it quite a bit. I'm not getting too much, I think, of the pineapple or the stone fruit entirely. I'm wondering if it maybe just needs to warm up
That's
just a
possible.
little
It is
bit.
cold.
It is quite cold.
It is
It's
cold.
super crisp.
I get the grapefruit.
The grapefruit is
Big,
there.
big dank grapefruit note.
And it's really balanced well, again, with the pine and the grass.
Yeah.
You know.
It's nice.
Yeah, right? Not too shabby.
Really just like, this is a good, I'm going out to the bar. I don't want anything frilly. Let me get the IPA on tap. If they had this, I'd be really happy.
Yeah, I agree. It's a no frills all beer.
I'm not getting any passion fruit, I don't think.
No,
Any passion fruit notes.
Neither am I, not particularly. And again, I think that's why I'm thinking that maybe we need to just give it a little bit in terms of letting it warm up, maybe just a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, we can come back to it. Well, you know what warmed this up really good? Fire.
A little fire.
Yeah. So I stuck with fire. Pretty traditionally, I stuck with fire in its many forms.
Oh.
I really went with like a heat theme, let's say. So I wanted to start with lava. I am absolutely fascinated by lava. I think it's one of the coolest things that we find on Earth. Not so much.
I mean, it's the foundation, quite literally, of the ground that we are on.
It blows my mind that it's hot enough under our feet to molten rock.
Oh yeah. Turn your
that's an adjective.
bones into to molten it.
Yeah, to molten it. So lava is technically only lava while it's underground, because once it breaches the surface, it's called magma.
Oh, that's right.
I don't
Molten hot magma.
Yeah, I don't know why we need a different designation for below and above ground, but we have it.
Yeah, but you know what? That also, not to cut you off, but that's one of those things where comet versus asteroid.
Yeah.
Or comet versus, or asteroid versus meteor.
Yep.
I think this the difference. Yeah.
Definitely. So either way, it is incredibly hot and will burn down anything in its path.
It's
terrifying. Typically ranges for anywhere from 1,470 degrees Fahrenheit to 2,190 degrees Fahrenheit.
Holy shit.
With the viscosity of ketchup.
Oh.
So it's
it's on the thicker side.
Yeah, it has, I'm going to get into it later, the composition of it, but what makes it up is really what it is. Lava can travel long distances, which is strange to me, but then it brought in this fact. So it says that if air hits lava too quickly as it's flowing down a mountain or whatever, it actually makes a solid crust on the top, insulating the heat of the liquid inside.
Oh.
So even though the top of it might be hard and maybe even hard enough to walk on, underneath is still a river of magma.
I feel like I've seen videos of people around the rim of a volcano where it does look like as they walk that the ground does have some sort of a movement or a wave to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. It's really strange. So it's dominantly composed of silica, but in many forms, typically in the form of crystals, volcanic glass, and bubbles or volcanic gas. These are the main things that comprise magma. I've said this before on the show. Lava will actually singe your nerve endings off.
Right. So it's kind of a quick and painless.
Not to say that it won't hurt you, though.
Oh, yeah. Because it can't be a quick. Well, my guess is that your body probably just goes into shock very quickly.
It's a lot of things, because if you actually not that you would, dipped your hand in, you would get burned, real bad. It's hot enough to turn the water in your body into steam and boil your fat.
Oh.
Yeah. So you don't want to touch.
Oh my God, that sounds terrible.
You don't want to touch lava. It's very thick. If you fell into it, so there's a scene from, I want to say, what's that volcano movie? Is it just Volcano?
Isn't there one that's something in the volcano?
Something.
The volcano?
But there's a scene from a volcano movie and also something else that came out recently where someone fell into lava and got liquefied or sunk in. But that's not really how it works because lava is so thick and because of the crust. So you may like fall on it, but you're just sitting on top of a river of lava.
Oh,
yeah,
that
like
sounds terrible.
you never actually like sink in because it's too thick. You're more likely just like traveling along with it.
Oh no, thank you.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
No, thank you. Wow.
But yeah, I think lava is so cool. Would love to see some up close.
Isn't this the whole thing? You guys are going to a volcano.
So we get to drive through a volcano on our honeymoon.
I'm
It's
excited.
it's not active, I assume.
Well, hey, who knows? We've got there are a couple of them.
But you could outrun lava.
Oh
Like
yeah, that I
it's
would
not
assume.
that fast.
No, that I would
If
assume.
you're in a spot where you have the ability to run, you can outrun it. The other stuff you got to worry about is like
the ash
the
and
extra,
and
exactly.
and all the falling
because
debris.
you would actually like probably not even like if you fell into lava, the gas would knock you out.
Right.
You'd be unconscious hopefully before the unthinkable happened.
I feel like the unthinkable at that point had already happened.
Yeah.
How does it get worse than this? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
God.
You got napalm under your feet.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
thank you.
sounds
None of that
awful.
sounds appealing at all.
I know, but it's so cool though, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yeah, just destructive as hell.
Yeah,
Like,
super destroyed. Nothing survives. I mean, Pompeii is an interesting case though because like a lot of those people didn't die from the lava; they died from the ash and like
the smoke, right?
Yeah, and
yeah.
and the ejecting like rocks. That
Yeah.
were launched out of this volcano. It's crazy.
Ooh, I still
yeah,
never gone
volcanoes are
there. I've
nuts.
got to go there.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think so.
Yeah. Did you try this again?
I did. You start to get a little bit more of the stone fruits that do start to come through just a little bit. They're sneaking around. Some of the grapefruit, I think. Just a hair.
I kind of get the passion fruit. I think I confused it for like a grape, like a white grape note.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
I think I get the passion fruit.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a solid, I'm going to give it like a solid like 3.8.
Okay.
I like a 3.8, 3.9.
I'm not too far off.
Yeah, it's nice. It's got, because of the Simcoe, I think it does make it a little something extra special. It does have some of the malt.
Simcoe's a great hop.
Yeah.
It really is.
It does have some of that malt in there, so it's got a slightly different mouthfeel, I think, than a traditional American IPA. Well, yeah, from like a traditional American
We drink a lot
IPA.
of Northeast style New England IPAs.
We do. So this is, I think, just a little bit unique. And you know what I got to say? If I remember correctly, obviously, us living in New Jersey. If you haven't figured that out, by the way,
You haven't been listening.
it's not terribly expensive. Like it's a nice beer. I mean, obviously, again, it doesn't have to go too far for it to get at least to where I picked it up.
Yeah.
But it was it was decently priced. It wasn't like these. For a 4-pack, it wasn't like some of these that are priced out at like $17, $18.
20, 21,
yeah.
22.
I want to say that this was roughly maybe like $12. So
That's not
too bad at all.
That is really good
Yeah.
for a 4-pack of beer.
That's what I thought.
And of this quality too, like I'm not mad at this. I would drink this at if you sent me to dinner, I would drink this anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those I think I would pick up for someone's barbecue, and this would kind of be like a good like daytime.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of relaxing. I'm hanging out with some people, catching up maybe with some folks I haven't seen in a little bit.
Not too high in ABV.
Exactly.
Very crisp and floral and clean. I'm gonna go 3.55, 3.6, 3.61.
Okay.
We're pretty close.
Yeah, I think so.
You've been a little higher on beers today than I have.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I'll just run with it. It's the day, I guess.
Sure.
Why not?
Every day is a day.
Every day is a day.
And it ends in Y.
Every day is
a winding road.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going for.
Right? Every day
Day is a winding
Yeah.
road. Get a little bit closer.
It's all in the harmony.
Yeah,
or the melody. I'm sorry.
you're right. That's what I was going for. And then I quickly started to get into Beautiful by Christina Aguilera, and I'm glad that I didn't. Anywho, I would like to speak about the burning of the Great Library of Alexandria.
Oh,
So-
I like where this is going.
I've never heard of this before.
I mean, I know of the Library of Alexandria, but I didn't know it burned down.
Okay, so a bit of a background then. So while there's much question as to like its history and its founding, the earliest known mention of the Library of Alexandria is from what's referred to as the Letter of Astrius, which had been written sometime between 180 and 145 BC.
Oh wow, wow.
So it's old. Modern historians now believe that the groundwork for the library was established by Ptolemy I and then built around the reign of his son, Ptolemy II, between 283 and 246 BC. So it had been built as part of the larger, what's referred to as like the Mocean, which was an institute that had been dedicated to the Muses. And essentially it was like almost like a precursor to the modern like college campus, where there were different libraries and different wings with like dining halls almost and dormitories and like different like reading rooms and things along those lines. So the goal of the library wasn't so much for research entirely, but rather it was meant to like be served as an aid to the pharaoh. Basically, I guess to show more of like look at all this that I can go ahead and kind of accumulate. Mm-hmm. So it's believed that at its peak, it contained some 500,000 scrolls of the ancient world. We're talking from Assyria, Greece, Persia, India, and Egypt. So all of that information. So in 48 BC, during Caesar's civil war, Julius Caesar was besieged at Alexandria. And in an effort apparently to like clear the wharf of people and block his enemies, it was alleged that his soldiers set fire to then some of like the Egyptian ships that had been in the wharf, and that these fires then spread to the docks and then apparently went on to have the library catch on fire as well. So there's a lot of thought that like this is actually what destroyed the library entirely. However, there's actually like some disputed evidence about that. So indications now show that the library may not have been destroyed in its entirety, but rather only like a warehouse where some of these scrolls had been stored. However, it may have been destroyed, was probably rebuilt, but then never to its past glory, because there are references like later on of like Mark Antony having like gifted then Cleopatra some, hundreds of thousands of scrolls, at one point in time. So while the library may have been rebuilt, this Museon, like this actual institute, that is what's gone and has like disappeared. So essentially the crux of it is that, again, essentially the entire collection is essentially lost and gone. And so records of
who knows what was in there.
That infuriates me.
Yeah.
Like to know, I mean, obviously you can never know what's going to wind up happening, but essentially like all of the written histories of the ancient world.
Pretty much.
Gone.
Unless it was a lie and someone's got it locked up somewhere.
I mean, one of the beautiful things with Egypt, and if you go way on back to one of our earlier, earliest episodes, we had discussed it, there's the sand moves in such a way that we don't know what could still be underneath and if these things still exist in places. But like, yeah, I had never heard about this because it was specifically, I was on history.com and Wikipedia, and it's specifically the history.com article was like 7 fires that changed history. Oh. And this was listed as one of them.
If I had to guess, I would say they're in the Vatican catacombs. If they were still around.
Probably. I mean, potentially. Oh, I would love to. Oh, God, I would love to know.
Are only like 5 people allowed down there? The Pope.
A couple cardinals, probably. Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, God, apparently they've got...
Who knows what's down there?
Apparently they've got like dinosaur bones of dinosaurs that we don't know had necessarily like ever existed. There's speculation that actually the body of Jesus is, somewhere.
That I would understand why the Vatican needs, but I don't know why the Vatican needs dinosaur bones.
Oh, because if God created everything,
everyone should still share in its glory.
Yeah. Explain. Yeah. Go ahead and explain that to 2,000 years of Catholicism.
So the people who said that first. Okay. So I talked about
somewhere the Pope is going. Alexander. No.
If the Pope is listening to me, then someone's not sponsoring us enough.
Buongiorno, Papa. Frank. Frank calling from Rome online too.
Oh, hey Frank, how's it going? Good friend of the show.
Long time a listener, first time a caller.
So I talked about lava. We did something terrestrial. Let's go extraterrestrial. Let's go to supernovas.
Ooh.
Another thing that just fascinates me. I'm in awe of supernovas.
I don't like anybody that sings that song for karaoke. Don't sing Champagne Supernova for karaoke.
No, please don't.
Stop it.
No one
Sorry.
should sing that song. Oof. Yeah, supernovas. Do you know what a supernova is?
I assume a Nova with a supercharged engine.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Threw a supercharger on there, catback exhaust,
What's that?
19-inch rims.
It's a supernova.
Supernovas are just explosions.
Oh,
It's when a star explodes.
oh, duh.
It's when a star explodes.
Okay.
So actually, they're classified as the biggest explosion humans have ever seen. Supernovas. So just a little background. For a star's life to continue, it must be in balance between two opposing forces. At its core, nuclear fuel is burned, creating tons of energy and pressure, and outwards pressure, pushing out from the core. Inversely, on the surface, gravity of the star is constantly attempting to keep the star in a tight, ball, as small as possible. That's what gravity wants. So like this ebb and flow of the natural forces are what keeps the star alive. So when the core runs out of fuel, this like yin and yang becomes like unbalanced, obviously, and gravity begins to win. As gravity wins, the collapse of this star starts, and sometimes like as fast as 15 seconds.
Oh my God.
So the speed and the pressure of which causes the star to collapse would then produce shock waves, and that produces the explosion.
Oh.
So all that's left behind after this star explodes is a dense core and what they call a nebula, which is just a cloud of hot gas that's expanding.
Oh, that's wild.
So when these happen, these can actually like outshine the entire galaxy that they're in for days or even months.
Really?
This explosion is that powerful.
Huh.
If the star at the center of a supernova is 10 times the size of our sun, then it could produce a black hole. And that's how black holes start.
No way. Really?
So it's got to be a super giant star. And if it's dense enough, that's what causes it. And I will leave it there because we could save black holes for another day.
Okay, so you said that it's the brightest thing.
It's the most impressive explosion that we could see.
Can we see? Has there ever been a situation where like we can see them with like the naked eye? Like,
I don't know about naked eye, but they happen roughly in the Milky Way. They happen roughly 3 times a century.
oh, okay.
So
okay.
there's opportunities.
Are we overdue?
I don't know actually, but the way it goes on to explain is that scientists, with all the galaxies in the universe, like at least a couple hundred happen a year.
Oh.
So we could probably find it.
Okay, yeah, I want to find one out.
Yeah, we could probably find it. But I mean, like, the power of a star.
Oh my God.
The sun. The power of the sun explode. Like, we had a solar flare earlier this week. Like, I'll admit, I felt a little fucked up from it. And that's just a flare.
Well, I love the fact is that, again, they, depending upon the size, they can have like an impact then on like the electromagnetic spectrum and interfere with,
Right.
radio waves and
Right. Yeah, the solar
maybe
flares.
things along-
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is obviously not on that scale. Usually they're not as big as the sun,
Right. But still.
but they can be.
Science.
We love it.
Science.
We love it.
We love it.
I feel like I should have been a Magic School Bus character.
Oh, I would have loved to have been on the Magic School Bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Super progressive.
Even though they're the Captain Planet kids anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say. Which really throws you for a loop.
Well, lay it.
So, back down here on Earth,
Okay.
I was explaining to you before, I wanted originally to focus on maybe only like one historical fire.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't resist because I had never known about this one. And sometimes the way that it was referred to in this article, again, from history.com, the 7 fires that changed history, they made reference to the point is that this is almost like a forgotten one as well. So
okay.
this is the Great New York Fire of 1835. Exactly. So leading up to 1835, New York City wasn't necessarily at first like the powerhouse that we know of it as today in terms of like finance and commerce and whatnot. It was predominantly still Boston, Philadelphia, places like that.
Okay.
So once the Erie Canal had been opened, it had pushed a lot of business into like New York State then, as all of a sudden we now had like a connection to the Midwest. So as a result then, New York Harbor grew and eventually became the largest in the country. And so too did the economy. So like business, financial, and like trade districts all popped up in Lower Manhattan. And along with that, so did significantly more like wooden buildings, and the population increased also. So the population had grown in in Manhattan 60% between 1820 and 1830.
Wow.
So we're talking about 145,000 more people.
Oh, man, in 10 years.
In 10 years, while the fire department, which at the time was volunteer, had only added about 300 firemen. So with this increase in population, like I said, more buildings went up. However, the water supply and like where they would get their water from, that sort of infrastructure really wasn't updated, and cholera had become really common, as was the case. There was a cholera outbreak in December of 1835. Sorry. So the night of December 16th saw temperatures well below zero. And the fire department had already, been dealing with 2 fires earlier in the evening. So when they got reports that there was a warehouse that was on fire down in Lower Manhattan, they weren't entirely like, I don't want to say motivated, but like they were exhausted. They were tired to begin with. So they didn't necessarily like rush downtown to go ahead and like take care of it. By the time they did go ahead and start to make it downtown, they were met with like blistering winds and a frozen East River. So temperatures were reportedly as low as 17 degrees below zero Fahrenheit, and they had these gale force winds. Now, I was kind of curious because I didn't actually know. I was like, oh, it's windy. It's really windy. Do you know at what like sustained speed needs to be like how fast
to be gale force?
Yeah, to be considered to be gale force.
80?
Oh, no, it's not that. It's
not that high.
No.
40.
Yeah, just about 39 actually.
That's still pretty fast.
30 sustained, exactly.
Yeah, it's
sustained.
still pretty fast.
And imagine already again, negative 17 degrees.
This fire lit up everywhere.
So at the time, the fire department didn't have city water from like within the city necessarily, so they used to actually like stick hoses directly into the river, the Hudson, and the East River.
And it's frozen.
It was frozen. They would drill holes into the East River, stick the hoses in, but the water would immediately freeze around the hoses then. So they realized that they weren't necessarily going to be able to get people, put these the fires out with water. So they had moved into like getting people actually to like leave their houses, get out of their homes. They then tried to, and this is sometimes a tactic, but get rid of like fuel for the fire. Sometimes so like purposely, let's go ahead and like knock down or other buildings. So they had decided, let's go ahead and we'll blow up like certain buildings in the area. However, that failed.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Well, it is quite a terrible idea, particularly because of the fact is that, so for one thing, they didn't have enough gunpowder, so they actually had to like call in the Marines who were in Battery Park to start to bring gunpowder over to assist with this. But some of the buildings had stored potassium nitrate, which is like what's used.
Isn't that in TNT or nitroglycerin or something?
That's nitroglycerin. Potassium nitrate is what's used in like fertilizers. So, which is always used, like I would know, but like in like homemade bombs and whatnot.
Yeah.
So a couple of these buildings started to blow up then on their own.
Oh my God.
So the fire eventually went out on its own once it reached the East River itself. But by then, firefighters from Philadelphia were starting to show up as allegedly the fire was visible from Philadelphia.
Wow.
When they had showed up, there was near total destruction of Lower Manhattan. So it's 17 city blocks had burned, which accounted for 13 acres, nearly 700 buildings, including the post office, the stock exchange, at least one church, and something that was known as the Merchants Exchange, which had only opened in 1827, and it housed the New York Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, wow.
The fire burned for nearly 15 hours. The next morning, the New York Courier and Examiner had basically read like a post-apocalyptic, almost like report, just saying South Street is burned down, Exchange Place is burned down, Wall Street is burned down.
Oh my God. In
today's money, over $500 million worth of damage was done. Like, I think at the time they had said that it was like $20 million, and today it works out to be like, again, roughly like $540 million. But I do have noted here, though, out of the ashes, those wooden buildings were quickly replaced with stone and brick ones, and they had also, as a result, then built the Croton Aqueduct, which supplied the city with fresh, clean water from the Croton River in Westchester County. You can still see some of those like aqueducts that are still up there today, and I would love to one of these days. It's like a 26-mile. Well, it traveled about 40 miles, but there's the Croton Aqueduct Trail, which is about 26 miles. I would love to go and walk it one of these days. It's beautiful.
That is a massive fire.
Massive,
13 acres worth of land?
13 acres worth of land, 700 buildings.
That's no joke.
Over $500 million worth of damage.
That is no joke.
The thing that like sticks out in my mind, and I think it's one of the ideas of like what's always kind of like freaked me out in certain regards about fire. Negative 17 degrees.
Yeah.
Like, a fire is not cool or good, I think, during any time period, but like in the middle of a bone-chilling night in December, like that sounds horrible. Horrible.
I can't even imagine what that was like to see.
It's one of these things that somehow managed to really kind of like this story, at least. I like to think I know a decent enough, amount about like New York City history and whatnot. I had never heard of this.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
wonder if it's because they kind of brought, like, not that they brought it upon themselves, but like when they started to blow up the buildings with not the right stuff or.
Well, it seems like it's more of like the fact that they managed to rebuild almost as quickly as they did. Like, it's really interesting. There are
that is really impressive.
There are a couple like different accounts. I think there was one from like a London magazine that had like, or a London newspaper that was describing the destruction. But the author explicitly had noted, like, if there's one thing that's really impressive, it's the way that folks are reacting to it, and more of like, rather than showing like complete and utter, despair and helplessness, like everyone was just kind of like, okay,
right to work.
Let's rebuild. Let's do what we got to do.
Interesting.
Yeah. Resilient, baby.
So my last thing, I wanted to talk about the color of fire.
Ooh, the color of fire.
Color of fire, because it comes in many colors, and it doesn't always have to do with what is being burned.
I forgot about that.
Like fire has a color, so we've all seen firsthand, fire flicker. I said it before; it's very entrancing, very fun to watch, and we've seen it change color on us.
Yeah.
Red to orange to blue. So do you ever wonder how or why fire changes color? Or do you know?
I don't think I actually know.
It could absolutely have something to do with the fuel, whatever's being burned.
Right.
We've seen things change fire's color, like those logs that make it green or whatever.
Yeah.
But like fire inherently has different colors.
Did I ever tell you? It's related. When we used to go camping, when we were in the Scouts, we used to go to a place in upstate New York for winter camping. And there was one time we had this older guy, Mr. Downing. God love him. I hope he's still kicking. There's a big fireplace like in this room that we're all camping in and whatnot. And all of a sudden someone starts to notice. They're like, why is the fire like burning like green right now and all these colors? And someone goes, well, what's on the fire? And he goes, hey, it's an old electric heater. And someone goes, why did you put an electric heater? He goes, what's the matter with that? Just put on an electric heater. Just gotta burn it out. What am I gonna do with that otherwise? I'm gonna throw it out? And everyone was like, now we're young, but even then we were like, Downey, you can't do that.
Scouts.
There's plastic and whatnot in there. Like, you can't do that. Yeah, the kind of things we used to burn. We're like, yeah, we do. And that's why you're all, got 1 foot in the grave. Stop burning shit like that.
That sounds incredibly dangerous.
Oh, my God. And didn't give a shit. God love him. God love him. Oh, God. It's burning green. What?
So fire doesn't naturally burn green.
No.
Does not. But it does naturally burn red, orange, white, and also blue. So red is actually the coolest part of the fire, which is an oxymoron, but it's true. It ranges anywhere from 980 to 1800 degrees.
Oh, that's it.
Fahrenheit. That's it. Super cool. Orange, on the other hand, comes into play when a portion of fire is hit about 2000 degrees, anywhere from 2000 to 2200. Throw another 200 degrees on there, and you got yourself white flames.
I always thought that white was the hottest.
That's what I thought too, but it's not true.
Fascinating.
So blue is actually...
I'm glad you didn't ask me, because I would have looked like a real ass.
I can honestly say I don't think I've ever actually seen any white flames, but the way it's explained in the article is that if you're burning like a candle, just at the bottom of the wick is just barely white.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a natural glow.
Yeah.
Almost is white. What I really wanted to talk about was blue. That's the whole point of this little tidbit. Topping the charts anywhere from 2600 to 3000 degrees Fahrenheit. So blue flame is hotter than magma.
Oh shit!
By
you're right.
About 400 or 500 degrees. Like
wow,
maybe even more than that. I say blue flames reign supreme as far as fire goes, and I'm sure you've all seen it igniting like a stovetop burner. At first, when it comes out, it's blue.
I wish I had gas fireplace.
Oh, you don't have gas?
Oh no, this is electric.
Because we're in a building.
I mean, it's smart.
No, I know,
but it's not efficient.
It's not.
Although I feel like you get much more even heating on an electric.
Oh, it's because I'm a real nut job while making sure like I gotta keep it clean. Otherwise, that's what.
Yeah,
that's why you get a shitty electric.
Definitely, yeah, 100%. We would have a shitty electric stovetop. We don't clean it very well. So when you light up the pilot and right before it goes on, everything's blue. The flames are blue. It's because it's at their hottest.
Oh,
and that is because that blue flames contain more oxygen than your normal orange or red flame. And gas burns much hotter than normal organic material. So because it's more oxygen rich and full, and we're not just burning like wood, which would normally just burn red or orange, it's the oxygen is igniting and causing it to become much hotter than totally normal.
Interesting. I wonder how much like the oxygen levels need to increase, because
that's a good question.
Because I'm thinking about like when you're like blowing on a fire to get it going, or like billowing a fire to get it going. But I guess you would really have to add quite a bit of oxygen.
I think what it really needs to be is that it needs to be present in the combustible material.
Oh, okay.
At least the way I think about it. And I feel like it makes more sense that way, because you're burning, butane, right?
Right.
Essentially.
Right.
And there's oxygen.
Or natural gas or
Right.
Oh, that does make more sense. Huh.
But still really cool to look at, and very dangerous to touch.
Very dangerous to touch.
Don't
touch it. Don't touch it.
Which means you'll probably go and touch it.
I mean, you got to learn.
Right. I usually learn through my mistakes.
Exactly.
I just try not to burn myself in the process.
Exactly. Otherwise, you could wind up with perhaps a towering inferno.
Oh, what's that?
Are you good with colors?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Blue flame was my pinnacle.
So the Towering Inferno is an unbelievable movie.
Okay.
I mean that sincerely.
I'll have to take your word for it.
It's an American disaster film that's directed by John Gillerman and starring an ensemble cast led by Paul Newman, and I wrote in parentheses, meow, Steve McQueen, and Faye Dunaway.
Oh, okay, some heavy hitters.
Oh, dude. It also had performances from Fred Astaire, Robert Wagner, William Holdeman, and if the glove does not fit, I'll just write a book about how I would have done it if I did it, but I definitely didn't do it, even though I probably most likely definitely did do it, O.J. Simpson.
That was a mouthful.
It was, and I'm so proud that I was able to get it out all in one go. So it was released in 1974, and it told the story of the Glass Tower, which was being commemorated for its opening in San Francisco as the tallest building in the world when a fire breaks out on the 81st floor, and then those inside must go ahead and escape.
This is a real story, or
No. This is
totally fabricated.
Totally fabricated. So it was the third of 3 disaster movies released that year in a 3-month period. All of them were box office hits. So that was released in December, but in October they had released
Earthquake.
That was released in November.
Twister.
No, Twister was, I believe, the 90s.
Yeah, you're right. It was.
It was Airport 1975. So they had done the first Airport came out in, I believe, 1970, and then this was technically the sequel.
Oh.
The Towering Inferno, however, was the highest grossing film of 1974 then, with $116 million in theatrical rentals. But that's in 74 money. In today's money, it's
way more than that.
It's over $667 million. Wow. So it's a huge moneymaker. It earned 8 Academy Award nominations. And this was actually Fred Astaire's only nomination ever.
Really?
Yep, it was the only nomination.
What is wrong with people?
Exactly, and he didn't win it. Although he did win a BAFTA and a Golden Globe for the performance. The movie did go on to win 3 of the 8: Best Cinematography, Best Editing, and Best Original Song.
Oh wow!
And apparently, it served as the inspiration for the song Disco Inferno.
Did it? Really?
Yep, that was recorded by the Tramps in 1976.
Wait, who recorded that first?
The Tramps.
Oh, I definitely thought it was the Bee Gees.
Oh no! No, it gained its popularity because it was on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I thought
if you've never taken the time, dude, I highly recommend watching The Towering Inferno. It's movie. So good. That, and if you want to go ahead then cool off from that afterwards, The Poseidon Adventure is...
The Poseidon Adventure?
Same sort of... so American disaster movies were like...
I love American disaster
movies.
Oh
my God. And the 70s was the highlight. The fact that you even said Earthquake,
right?
So good. But
I remember being on that ride at Universal Studios.
Absolutely. It was called Catastrophe. It was called Catastrophe Canyon.
Oh. No, I went on the actual Earthquake movie ride.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Maybe I did also.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was Catastrophe Canyon also. I remember going on.
I went on the Earthquake movie ride, and I went on the Twister ride.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, we didn't talk about today, which we should have, fire tornadoes. There was a fire tornado during the Twister ride.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, that shit was hot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Really hot.
Oh, yes. I think they got rid of all those rides.
Did they?
If I'm not mistaken, I want to say that they had... Because Catastrophe Canyon, I remember, was the one where you was supposed to be on a movie lot. And all of a sudden, they were like, okay, filming in 3, 2, and they were like, wait, no, we've got a tour group with us. You can't go ahead and do it yet. And all of a sudden...
I think I was on this too.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, an oil tanker blows up and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
But same thing, I remember sitting on these rides and the flame...
the heat from the flames,
that you would all of a sudden feel from these flames. Ugh. No, thank you.
It's like standing in front of a blow dryer that's 10,000, I don't know. It's very large.
That is one of the ways everyone's like, how would you, want to ever die? And I'll be like, well, I don't care, but I can tell you how I don't want to die.
Seriously.
The idea of burning or drowning sound, those two extremes, I'll be like, strong pass for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 won't recommend.
That's going to be a not for me. Thanks, dog. What's that Randy Jackson quote? Why can't I think of it?
That's
it's going to be a no. It's going to be a no for me, dog.
I've got one factoid.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Because if I don't mention...
Because fires.
Because fires. Because if I don't mention anything having to do with the great state of New Jersey...
This wouldn't be an episode.
This wouldn't be an episode, despite the fact that we've had this delicious Heaven Heller
New Jersey IPA.
Hoboken IPA. The oldest continually operating volunteer fire department is
in New Jersey.
New Jersey, yeah. It is now called the Relief Fire Department. It's down in Mount Holly. It used to be called the Britannia or the Britannica Fire, Brigade.
And they're still volunteers?
Yep. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for some reason, 1760 something sticks out in my mind, but also it could be 1730 something.
Wow. That's when they were established.
Correct. So well over, if in either case,
older
well
than
over
the country.
Yep. Older than, that's why they changed the name from eventually Britannia or Britannica to Mount Holly. Yep.
Interesting.
Because New Jersey is the best state in the Union.
I would... in the Union, okay.
Yeah, where do you think is better?
I mean, I've never lived anywhere else.
That's because last I checked, everywhere else I got to get out of my car and go and put gas in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that's not keeping me here.
I would give you 2.5 to 3 weeks before you'd be like, fuck this bullshit.
You're giving me more credit than you should.
Oh, okay, good, okay, brilliant. Because I could see you getting dressed to go out somewhere, and you'd be like, "Oh, I gotta get out of the car. I gotta smell like gas now."
That's true, but also like more convenient because just pay and do it yourself instead of having to wait for an attendant to come over.
How long do you gotta wait?
Depends. Sometimes longer than I'd like.
In the words of every fine man from New Jersey, feh.
Feh. Peasants. If you guys enjoyed it, please let us know. Come tell us about fire. Come let us know about something we missed, because I know we did.
Absolutely.
Someone tell me about fire tornadoes. I'll be really happy.
Tell us about it.
Send me an article. I don't care. Send me an article on fire tornadoes and why they're bad for us.
Exactly. You know what I want to know about? I want to know all about the Midnight Society. And I want to know about...
Midnight Society.
Yeah, don't you remember? Are You Afraid of the Dark? And they used to throw the...
yeah, and they would throw the whatever on it. Like
yeah.
Fulgurite.
I want to know. I don't know either. I want to know about that. I want to know about the Olympic torch. That's a pretty important goddamn flame.
That's a good flame.
The eternal flame. I want to know
that?
about... That's what's burning outside of JFK's tomb. It's the eternal flame.
Oh, and it's always...
Oh, it's always lit.
Oh.
It's always lit. Yeah, there's like a pipe. Like a gas line pipe that's running through into Arlington. It's always burning.
I thought it was magic, maybe.
Oh, no.
No, I'm sorry.
No. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But let us know these things.
Definitely do. And please stay tuned. I said it last episode for the Instagram post. We want you guys to pick our next beer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, when I hear from my cousins, when I hear from our good friend Bridge down in North Carolina, and they compliment us, and I was laughing along with you guys. It's like I'm talking with you guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
But take some of those messages too and put them on the interwebs. Put them online.
If I don't get anything from now until our next recording, I'm giving you all my phone number, and then I'm just going to be really upset that I'm getting blown up all the time.
We are getting feisty. Feisty.
That's my default.
Things are getting a little caliente in here.
Ooh, spicy.
Little fiery.
Be good. Be classy.
Done.
Don't do anything we wouldn't do.
Exactly.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.